Hello everyone, how are you doing? I know you all have been sitting here in anticipation, waiting to watch this film. I'm ready to watch it along with you. I'd like to welcome you all here to the 7th Annual Miami Fashion Film Festival. I'm the festival ambassador. I'm Tiffany Pittman, and aside from being the ambassador, I do many jobs actually. I'm a freelance writer, TV and event producer, and an actress here in Miami. What I do is I develop ideas, information, and stories into engaging content and experiences for startups, Fortune 500 brands, nonprofits, and TV networks. So again, we appreciate you all being here today. The festival's mission is to advance the fashion film genre and the power to share the talent and the story of brands, filmmakers, and creatives like some of you all here. And our first featured official selection, which I am so excited about, is a documentary called High on Heels. Who in the audience is wearing heels? Because I came ready with mine, I'm wearing red heels. Just for the occasion. And High on Heels is directed by independent documentary filmmaker Adelin Gasana, who is sitting right here in the audience. Let's give him a round of applause. Yes, come on in and sit down. We're just getting started. Adelin, just to let you know, he's actually a former South Floridian. He used to live down here, but now he is based in Atlanta, Georgia. And how about this is the world premiere of High on Heels. And that means you are all the first audience to see it. So you're part of history right now. The documentary looks into how and why heels are an experience of beauty, sexuality, sophistication, empowerment, maturity, style, and professionalism for women. This documentary explores this dynamic along with an in-depth look into the history of the high-heeled shoe and the health factors that come along with wearing them. I don't know if I'm ready to hear that though, because I still need to wear my heels. As a conversational piece, the symbolism, evolution, and lifestyle trends of the high heel are expressed by shoe designers, stylists, dancers, models, fashion designers, bloggers, doctors, and everyday women. And you will all have an opportunity to learn more about the film and Adelin's journey in creating this film during an interview and Q&A, which will be held right after the screening. So please stick around for that. And at this time, let's please be respectful of others in the experience by silencing your cell phones. That is so important. And please take your cell phone communications outside of the film, outside of the theater actually, during the film, please. And that is it for now. So thank you and enjoy High on Heels. All right, give High on Heels a round of applause. That was really awesome. It was like a good mix of information. It was fun. It was entertaining. For those of you that missed the introduction earlier, I am Tiffany Pittman, the festival ambassador. Right now I'm going to conduct a short interview with the director of this film, Adelin Gasana, and then I'm going to open up the floor for you to ask him any questions that you have. So please welcome Adelin Gasana. Yes. Yeah, so how does it feel for this to be your debut, your world premiere of your documentary, High on Heels? How does it feel?
It's as good as it comes, right? This beats Atlanta by 15 days. We have our Atlanta premiere out at the end of this month, but no, this is. Have y'all ever been to a world premiere of any movie? No. Other than, of course, showing up on opening day of a movie like that. So, yeah,
right.
It's great. It's great. Thank you. By the way, shout out to Miami Fashion Film Festival. They've been gracious. It's been a privilege. It's a great venue. And thank you, Tiffany Pittman, for connecting us all. We have a whole backstory to it, so this was lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, speaking of the backstory, actually, Adelin and I, we've known each other for about 6 or 7 years, and today is the first day that we've finally met in person. Because we actually met online on Facebook through a mutual coworker, and we stayed in contact over the years on Facebook and LinkedIn. And I remember at the time that we met, you were working for Mogul Films.
Films.
Yeah, you were producing for them, and then I remember you moved to Atlanta and you started working for Swirl Films, who produces a lot of content for TV One Network and BET. And then you went to Weather Channel. Yeah, and so I kind of lost track of what you were doing.
I've been all over the place
since then. So what are you doing now?
I'm at Court TV now.
Okay, Court TV. Which of the judges are over that show?
Yeah, it's not those judge shows. It's actually court.
Okay, just court.
Like a murder trial.
Okay,
that kind of thing. We do the whole thing.
Yeah, because there's so many of those shows.
That's popular.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm doing that. Still in the media world. Just you know, as you know, just trying to survive, right?
Exactly. You have to have multiple streams of income.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then just keeping the ball on the wheel or not, and that's how a project like this comes up.
Okay. Yeah, and then somewhere during those years when we were connecting, you started doing documentaries. When did that happen, and what sparked you to go into independent filmmaking?
Well, it's interesting you asked that question because anyone knows me even earlier than that. Documentary filmmaking has been the beginning. I've been doing this since my freshman year in college. In fact, my biggest documentary in college was feminism, called the F Word.
Okay, so you've always been involved with, I say, female content, kind of.
Similar to a large degree. The topics that are talked about, and more so the subtleties that's not talked about. Hence the topic of high heels or not. I've been doing independent filmmaking from as young as I know. Starting off post college, and about close to over 10 years now at this point. And when it comes to filmmaking, I'm a self-professed documentary junkie. I can't help myself. I watch them all. I consume them all. I buy them all. I'm all over the place with it. Whether it's Hulu, PBS Frontline, Netflix originals, I'm all over the place with it. And so I watch all the greats. And so, hence my passion and my pursuit of documentary filmmaking.
Well, it definitely shows in your work.
Thank you.
In High on Heels, and speaking on high on Heels, there are so many different subjects you could have done a documentary on, like even sneakers. Why high heels?
That's another topic. Sneakerheads or whatnot. It's a whole nother ball game there. Like I said, high heels were just that subtle accessory that we all kind of see every day, and we all experience, and we all kind of are about it, but no one ever asks the questions, right? Like, where did it come from? What is it? What does it mean, and where's it going? And so I was so fascinated with that. So it's kind of a topic. Most documentary filmmakers will tell you that they already had a subject in their mind years back, and so I always hinted at that. I dabbled into a little research over the years, and then I just started seeing how in depth it is, and so much nuance and perspective on it. It's a shoe that's been around for centuries, and of course it's constant evolution. And then I started asking questions to a lot of my female friends and colleagues and coworkers along the way. What does it mean to you? And then they had all these passionate connections and symbolisms we addressed in the film. And so I said, why not take this on? And how I connected with my producer. She's my producer friend who, when I recently moved to Atlanta, we connected. And
Lola Coyote.
Yeah.
Okay.
She also does independent film, not documentary though. So this is her first time dabbling in it. And we're just sitting, like I said, we're young filmmakers. We're not in Atlanta, just figure out, we need to get on some content creation. Let's get on something that's our own. And so we're sitting in my living room, and I said we're throwing a whole bunch of ideas of what kind of topics we could talk about that was obviously affordable, localized, that kind of thing. And we threw out black farmers, gentrification, all that, and so we settled with high heels, and particularly because she has back pain due to her usage. In fact, her chiropractor is the one that was interviewed.
Okay, the lady sitting at the table with the skeleton.
Okay. And so, I said, wow, so tell me about that. And she started talking about her experience. I said, there's something here. So we delved into it and said, let's take this forward.
Yeah, it's such a relevant topic. I remember one of the experts in the documentary said something about 2 inches is the recommended size of a heel, and I'm like, that makes up 5% of my closet, so I would have like a lot of shoes to get rid of, but that is not going to happen, not in this lifetime. But let's go into the nuts and bolts of your filmmaking process. So it took you 14 months
Yeah.
to complete this
A
film.
little over a year, yeah.
And then you had a budget of under $20,000.
Yeah.
So what are some of the challenges that you dealt with, and how did you overcome them?
Well, you know, we knew head on what we wanted to go for. We wanted to go for what we call a short film. We didn't think it was ready enough for a feature length film. So we knew we would want to ballpark it in that way. And then we knew that being in Atlanta, it was such a doable documentary. Now, if we lived in Omaha, Nebraska, I probably wouldn't have that kind of accessibility, right? But being in Atlanta, it has all, it's just a fashion, I don't know if you've ever been, but it's very fashion filled. Every single one of these people are Atlanta, Georgia residents. And so there was so much people in it and businesses to focus in on that we can delve right into this. So we knew we had to be localized. We didn't have no budgets for travel and all that. And then along the way, you kind of be selective or not. With limited budgets, you give yourself more time. You know, and so that way we didn't force anything. We stretched it out as much as we could to get the final product we had. And so yeah, it's challenges from anything from equipment to archival footage material. So it's just being smart about it, knowing what you can and cannot do, and then of course, you know, act certain things out, add certain things out.
Yeah, I noticed that you had a lot of archival footage, lots of images. There were a lot of video reports from like CBS News, Good Morning America. Was it hard getting the clearance to use that for your film?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. My number one strength, if anybody asks me what my strength is in documentary filmmaking, it's that. I am a robust researcher. In fact, being in Atlanta, I worked on 2 other documentaries where I was an archival researcher and the person clearing licenses on a big documentary in Maynard Jackson. That also was a big documentary in 2018. And so I'm very good at that. I know how to you know, negotiate, find what's usable, what's not. But yeah, no, it's a challenge like anything else. It's just getting the right archival material to clear is as much of a challenge of getting the right interviewee that you want. So, you know, I've been at this. I know it takes time, and you just kind of, you know.
Yeah, we know you're a veteran and all this. And speaking of interviewees, I recently saw a statistic. It was from the Digital Marketing Institute. It stated 57% of fashion brands and companies are engaged in influencer marketing. And that has spilled over into Hollywood and entertainment, because you have people such as Tyler Perry, who he's put influencers in his movie. He had Kim Kardashian in his movie, it's like a long title, Temptation, Confessions of a Marriage Counselor. Y'all remember that film like a few years ago? And he put influencers in his Madea Halloween films. And I noticed in your documentary film, you had some influencers and some different bloggers and entertainers. One I'm kind of familiar with, Nzinga Ashani, and she has over 130,000 followers. So was that a deliberate strategy for you to do that? And what was the process of getting the influencers involved in your film?
It's an interesting question. No one's ever asked me that part. By the way, shout out to my interviewees. We have Pearl Fizalme in the building.
Hey.
One of the interviewees.
Pearl School of Modeling.
Right. Miami Party, by the way. And it wasn't the intention. You know, obviously in today's day and age, whatever content you do, you also have to think of the back end. How you market this, how you put this out. And obviously that does help us to have this influence demographic, you know, working with us. But no, believe it or not, it wasn't what I went in there for. You know, anytime you reach out to anyone in acting or modeling, that kind of thing, they're gonna have some type of social media presence and whatnot. So believe it or not, all the interviewees really was in my inner circle and whatnot. The hardest of the interviewees, and I was actually kind of surprised it took the hardest, was the podiatrist. That took the longest. In fact, I think she was one of our last interviewees, and I even told Lola, we can't finish this until we have a foot doctor. Like, forget about it. And so that took the longest part. But no, it was the inner circle. I'm part of the entertainment world. I like to consider myself a good conversationalist or not. I know how to sell real good. And believe it or not, they were wide open. You know, I thought they would give me the side eye, being here's a dude walking around with a camera, wants to do a documentary on women wearing high heels. you know, I thought that may have thrown some of them off, but no, it was, every single person I met with, including Linda, we sat down, had a cup of coffee, explained it all from A to Z, what my goal, my intention was, and yeah, they were wide open. Every single one of these interviews are one of the nicest people in the world, you know, so it wasn't no diva moments or anything like that. They were humble, they were gracious, opened up their space and time. But yeah, no, to answer your question, it wasn't really a goal in mind or whatnot. It's just, you know, we live in a day and age where someone has a significant social media, particularly those in front of the camera, you know, putting, like you said, I know Greer Howard, she does a lot of fashion modeling as well, as much as Nzinga does, and so it just comes to that territory.
Oh, okay. All right, and then so one last question from me before I turn it over to the audience. What is next for you? What can we expect to see?
Oh, you know, I'm open to suggestions, of course. But no, something in the back of my mind, which I think is one of the hardest topics to really do. I want to do something like gentrification, but particularly at the macro level, as much as it is a micro issue, and now you see it relevant in a lot of urban cities, but not so. I've read several books this year and the year before on the topic, whatnot. So once I'm kind of, you know, done with the rollout of this, I'm gonna, you know, sit down with a couple of academics and authors and just kind of get a level-headed sense of how I'm angling and whatnot. So that's on my plate as far as the next big project, something like that to do or not, which is going to require a good team. So that's on my plate.
Okay, all right, good stuff coming up. So right now I'm going to turn it over to you all, and if you have any questions, just please raise your hand and spit it all away. All right, you in the back?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
So, did you go to SCAD?
No, I did not.
Okay, so.
Oh, hold on. Go to SCAD for the document?
No, I knew you went to SCAD for
Oh,
the
yeah,
document.
no.
But I was asking if you went for school.
No.
Where did you go to school?
University of West Florida in Pensacola.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the 11 state universities in Florida.
So the scene when you were interviewing the shoe professor, the accessories
Design
professor,
professor, yeah.
that was in SCAD, right?
Yeah.
And in Savannah.
Yes, it's about, yeah.
So that building, that class, I went to SCAD. So
Oh, wow.
that classroom, I learned, we didn't have accessory design then. So that classroom, I learned, I'm a fashion maker, so I learned in that room. I was like, oh my God, and I lived literally a block away from that. So it was like, oh my God, it was interesting. I was like, I learned in that classroom.
Yeah.
That was cool, just like.
Small.
But so how did you come up, what was your kind of your link into SCAD, and how did you kind of get into?
Yeah, it reach out. I have a kind of a general idea of what people I want to bring on. So I, you know, have a checklist. I want a model. I want an actress. I want somebody who fits the role of a person who uses and wears heels on a daily professional basis. Right? And so you know, then of course you want your academics, your historian and curators you saw there. You know, just finding out people who can fit the arc of the script that I want to put together at the end. And so I reached out to Professor Susasi, and she was gracious and whatnot. The minute she said yes, I took that 3-hour drive to Savannah or whatnot.
And you were in Atlanta?
No, that was in Savannah.
No, I'm saying you.
Oh, I live in Atlanta.
You live in
Yes, yeah.
And the other question, does the woman who was speaking about the shoes at the podium throughout, is that SCAD too?
No, she's a curator at Brooklyn Museum.
Oh, okay. And I live in Brooklyn. That's funny.
Yeah.
I live in Brooklyn.
In fact, a couple of years back, she did a curator exhibit called Kid of the Heels.
Yeah. Oh, we looked at that. Oh, yeah.
And her focus really, her expertise is really, she documents the historical survey of the heel,
right,
dating back as far as 15, 16 years.
That was
so,
good.
Having her, agree to be part of this and give her for this over was gracious.
Yeah. So that was her video presentation.
Yeah, she did, and right, and that was only 3
Okay.
minutes of a 2.5 hour lecture.
Ooh, that's a lot of sifting.
Yeah. I listened to every single minute of it and jotted notes down and said, and then that's a good problem to have when you get to that cutting room. It's like you have all this material, but you have to,
dwindle it down.
Be as concise as you want, so you don't have a document drag on.
Yeah, it's better to have more than to have less.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It seemed that most of the women don't have concerns about health concerns about wearing heels, and I wondered if you didn't add, like, did you ever ask them about that? And also, did you have a message you thought you wanted to send at the beginning, and did that change? Or, you know, ideas about the, you know, heels, and did that change as you interviewed different people?
When it came to the health aspect, we knew that was a very important part of bringing it to it. And what's interesting enough, in my late conversations with people as well as doing the interview, all the young people don't have an issue at all. When I mean young, 20s, 30s, all through the 20s, early 30s don't have a health issue one bit. It's the women in their 40s, 50s that are complaining about it, right? Which obvious reasons, right? But yeah, no, so in my, obviously, so Nzinga was one of the negative side of it, right? And so no, I didn't really go in that message with that. I just wanted to really get the gray area, because when I'm telling people what I'm doing, you know, I say, yeah, you're doing that, man, how is it? Yeah, man, it's a pain, whatnot. So you're gonna talk about it. But I didn't want it to come off as if I'm bringing this message saying, yeah, women, y'all shouldn't be wearing heels, right? That's not something y'all should do. But no, it was really, we just wanted to take this heel and give it its rightful justice and touching up on all its nuances, not to leave anything out. Could we expand even further on certain aspects? Absolutely. But the whole idea was to really just shine about what this heel means to women, how is it part of their everyday experience, and that includes the good, the bad, and of course the other. So yeah, so it wasn't, I'm not doing that type of documentary to really try to angle or feel like there needs to be a position to be heard, which there are those type of documentaries done, and I'm not against any style of that. I was more interested in the expository element of this, really just giving the gray, and here it is, you know. Okay.
I'd like to actually kind of like branch off of what you guys were just talking about. So a lot of people you interviewed were like very positive. Like a lot of people who like wear heels, they were just very positive towards heels and like how it makes you feel, and like is that like, and then you also talked about how Atlanta's like kind of a great fashion city for that. How much different do you think your film would have been if you, same budget, same constraints, were in a different city? Like, and Miami maybe would be very similar, but like in like DC or like New York or Los Angeles, like just a different city. Like, is that very place-based, or do you think this is like extends to all over?
Well, actually, that's the question for the audience for now. Did y'all feel in any way this was localized? Did y'all, other than the fact that I told you everyone was from Georgia, did y'all feel in any way it was particularly localized in a particular something? And that was the feel we wanted. We knew we were talking about a mainstream topic, but we were limited with our obviously financial means to keeping it local in that. So I don't think so. I think we would have gotten the same responses had it been New York. I think in New York we probably have been more colorful with it, and I probably would have been tempted to even cross over in New York and have gone into the drag community, which is a whole other topic. Men wearing heels, bringing that back.
What about Omaha, Nebraska?
Probably not, right? But again, I think that for women and women, and always correct me if I'm wrong, I think that there's an appreciation for the heel. There's a connection over time. It grows on you. It becomes part of a certain identity that you want to present to the world. But then, of course, it has its challenges with that. And so maybe when you're in your 20s, you wore it 8 hours out of the day throughout your workday, student life day, but then, you know, when you get in your 30s, mid-30s, early 40s, you start taking them off throughout the day, right? When you're sitting at your desk. So those are the kind of normal patterns that we saw, you know, and having a discussion that when you get into the back end and the back aches and the ankles and the, you know, the foot pains come in, then it becomes much more like we're only wearing it a certain period of time. So to answer your question, I don't think so. I'm confident that this was more of a universal outlook on the topic of heels, particularly in the subjects that we interviewed and profiled.
I would just say, like, it is a universal topic, particularly in Atlanta, because the strip club population is particularly high. That you may see women with taller heels. You think in Atlanta? You get what I'm saying? Like, just because of that demographic. Whereas you know, in other cities it may not be as high.
Yeah.
So.
Go ahead.
I was really curious, because part of what I saw is this very heteronormative, female gaze reflecting back the male gaze and the importance of heels to create some type of like beauty aesthetic. And I was thinking about the strip club, part of it, and I was wondering if you would have had any interest to go deeper into how, you know, urban music and the strip club has changed the way people perceive heels. You know, from a feminist read, heels are destructive, you know, and, you know, a type of female foot binding, you know, like postmodern foot binding. So I was really curious if these types of topics and thoughts came across your process and how you wanted to deal with it. I mean, I think you addressed it in a very subtle way. I mean, I think you offered this medical information and the bodies that you were showing were very standard sized bodies, you know, and then showing the damage that it could do to a standard sized body, and then just doing a read of how it would affect broader or, you know, fuller bodies. So I was just wondering how, if any of this came across your process and how you'd want to talk about it.
Yes. Absolutely was. But you know, work with Lola, work with another team, you know, I was, don't go there, right? No, stripper was on top of my list, easy. At the very beginning. Being in Atlanta, I knew it had so much to do with that culture. And yeah, we pulled back, and for multiple different reasons. You know, going back, thinking on the marketing and on the back end, the front end, you know, we have so many of our interviewees that we wanted to kind of be respectful to. And so going in that world, we didn't want to conflate any notions of, you know, agreement or acquiescence to that culture, if they disagreed in that kind of lifestyle. But yes, I really, really did. And again, being a 45-minute doc, it comes with those type of limitations. Do we go into that? That subject matter was the closest one that I wanted to cross over prior to even getting to the male drag queen trans community and their relationship to heels. So I wanted to stick to heterosexual women and their experiences on the everyday level. But no, it could easily have gone in that direction. And I wouldn't be surprised if there was some strip clubs who are open to, hey, come on in, bring your camera up, sign off on the releases, you got clearance, and even the women who may have wanted to come forward and talk about what heels mean to them on their everyday. Because even from a professional point of view, there's a profession when it comes to that. So to answer your question, yes. But with knowing the bigger picture of this, we knew that that's worthy for another documentary, but not necessarily this one, the one we had tried.
Okay, we have time for one more question. Anybody have any questions?
I was gonna make a comment, and just something very anecdotal that I've noticed is that younger women are wearing sneakers with dresses a lot more, or long skirts. And so, you know, I thought it was interesting that you said that the younger women that you spoke to didn't seem to have any kind of concerns, whereas it just seems to me in my, you know, circles, I guess, that I feel like there are a lot of women wearing actually sneakers, not even just flat shoes, but sneakers with, you know, dresses, not even shorts, like dresses and skirts.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what's interesting, Zigo, who hates heels in the documentary, that's her thing. She wears dresses with sneakers. But the real question then is to ask whether it's either comfort or style. I think oftentimes the sneakerheads, but even just those who are fashionable sneakers, likes the whole convenience and what sneakers can do to add to an outfit. So I'd be more curious in that sense if it's more of a comfort and health aspect.
Right.
And can I add to that? Like, I think it's style, and I also think it's partly cultural. And the only reason why I'm going to say that is because when I went to college, I went to Florida State, and then right across a mile away was FAMU.
Yes.
So you have a predominantly white institution and then a predominantly black institution. At Florida State, I would wear sneakers all day, be like, you know, frumpy. But when I went to FAM,
Yes.
you had to have your heels on. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Everything.
Yeah.
So it's style
It's a fashion
and
show
it's cultural.
on campus. Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, got to wrap this up because we have another screening coming up. But if you didn't get a chance to get all of your questions answered, Adelin will be sticking around so you can meet him one-on-one. But thank you all for being here at the 7th Annual Miami Fashion Film Festival. And if you would like to know more about Adelin, you can follow him at docujourney_productions. And what is your website address?
Adelin Gasana films.com. My mother will probably argue this. I have.
Oh, that's your mom.
Yeah,
Hey.
I'm the only person, she'll argue that I'm the only person with the first and last name, so you can Google it. No one else is Adelin Gasana, so you'll find all my stuff there. Twitter, Facebook, everything.
Right, and if you would like to know more about me, Tiffany Pittman, you can look me up on smilebackgirl.com. It's like Gwen Stefani's song, Holla Back Girl, it's smilebackgirl.com. All right, and please stay for the next screening.